Hello, welcome to Goblins of Discord. I'm Larissa and this is Connor. Connor, do you have anything to say or promote or share?
Um, I would like to promote satanic worship because I am a gay, and as we know, with who we're going to be talking about, that is what us gays love. Secondarily, I'd like to promote my blog where I kind of write some sometimes cringy poetry, the Regal Beagle dog. Or you can find me on Instagram at Real Regal Beagle. I have to put real because I am the only one that counts. So there we go.
I just want to say, I don't think Alex Jones is against gay people.
No, I don't think he's seriously against gay people.
Because
No,
he's had
I
gay people
think
on his show, and he's had like Blair White. I like Blair White. I would like to tape her actually, but he's had Blair White. I actually could see him having sex secretly with like trans people, but that's just a feeling I have deep down because I think he's got a real kink. I think I went on a little deep dive ages ago where I was like trying to figure out like I don't know it was when I had a bit of a crush on Alex Jones, whatever sticks in my personality had sort of latched onto this like deranged daddy figure that he is. And I was like reading about some of his sexual proclivities. And apparently, he was cheating on his wife, but then he was having his wife followed, like detailed. So this could speak to him being double reactive, which is where we're coming from. But also, he apparently had some lady on speed dial, and she would draw him a bath and like treat him like a little baby. Like he would come over and get his bath. She would feed him and like and I dated a guy who I think was the same try fix as this, and he also weirdly liked being like held like a baby and like had this weird sort of will you rub my back and like
my dad, who everyone thinks their dad is an eight, but my dad is an
oh my
eight,
dad's not.
like for real. And he would go to this Japanese Korean whorehouse for days at a time. And his favorite thing was not all the sex he was having. Like he would go there for like 3 days at a time. His favorite thing wasn't all the sex he was having. It was that there was a Japanese lady who ran the kitchen who was called by everyone Mama-san, and she would just give him like a giant plate of rice with like I guess like egg or like an omelet on top or something like that. And like after he would like go on his 8 hour fuck sesh, his his favorite thing was that Mama-san, this 60-something-year-old Japanese lady, would bring him food. That was his favorite thing in the whole whorehouse. So I think,
You know what?
and my
Whorehouses
dad,
do seem, especially with that term, like a whorehouse. Like I could definitely see like some kind of 368 try type
yep,
ever being attracted to that because it's like I'm post battle. I was just fighting for my nation, and now I'm getting my reward. I've been working
exactly.
so hard. Now,
And my dad is in the 863 SPSO. So he has some crossover with our friend Alex Jones here.
he fits that archetype, the 368 archetype of like the warrior. I call it demolition man, but it's like monster energy drink energy.
Yep.
Nationalistic. I fight for my country. I fight for my women. I mean, I like it because it's like a turbo masculine type. So there is like that turbo daddy kind of.
It's not emotionally nurturing, but it is like he's going to be at the front porch with a shotgun. Oh,
I know.
what
I
are
don't know
you?
who this chick is. I was trying to find hot photos so we could look at him when he was at his prime, just for visual reasons. Um,
Is that actually him?
yeah, he was like kind of hot, right?
Oh, extremely.
You can see the
Oh my
three wing
God.
heart. I think he's three wing two in the heart space. He's kind of got that
Yeah.
Captain America.
Wow. That is
Yeah, he was a good looking guy. He
yeah.
also has that 8-9 ish space, 9-8 8-9 kind of look to him as well of like
Well, and he definitely gives off the vibe that like he could kill me, but he's not going to, which I love in a man. Um I also like on the search. Damn, what happened? Young Alex Jones. So here's the thing. Here's here's the thing, people. People age.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, that's horrible. That's so
Oh,
mean.
I mean, well, here's the thing too. I think type plays a real part in how you age.
Yeah.
Many blessings for having seven in my type, 7 and 9. I will say I think that by and large we age better than the general
Yeah, seven. Yeah, seven. If you have seven, you do seem
7 and 9.
to age slower. I don't know why.
It's the Peter Pan thing. It's because inside we're
Yeah,
Peter Pan, so our like physicality reflects that. That's my theory anyway.
I like
He
that.
has aged like someone I think with like the 8-9 gut center, but I could be
Yeah,
reductive. He's he's widened, not the
yeah.
wide thing of lengthening maybe, but he's like kind of widened.
You can see a lot of energy. I see. So I used to be an actor, and so I like to locate where people are leading from. He's leading from his eyes, which indicates head type to me.
Hmm.
Um,
Hmm. Yeah, no, I
it's
think he's a 6, but
yeah. Yeah, I think six is because he's not a five. He's way too explosive to be a five. Um,
he always looks serious and concerned and like on the edge of like some kind of meltdown or like we're fighting a war here.
yeah, look at that face. It's so noble. So six and three are just obvious from just photos. Um,
I'm like interested in discussing his wing because I've flip flopped on his wing a few times because he is extra paranoid, but he has 8, and I think that like double reactives are super paranoid people just generally
yeah,
like. But he also has something 7ish about him because he's kind of like the buddy archetype a little bit. Like,
he's very affable.
yeah,
Um, like I feel like if I went to my local dive bar, for example, and I met Alex Jones there without knowing who he is. Alex Jones.
sorry, sorry. I was like, maybe something will come up in that because I heard he was in some bunch of orgies. Anyway, sorry, Connor, keep going.
um, I feel like he's someone I could probably provoke at a bar, but that he wouldn't like shut off, you know, which six wing five tends to shut off pretty easily, and I don't think he can.
No, he seems like he's got extra unhinged, and he's a bit of a performance artist, so I can see the 7 there, where he's kind of,
Yes, well, and I
big
mean,
spectacle.
have you watched some of his commercials on his
Yeah,
Infowars?
yeah.
Whenever, yeah, like whenever he's selling stuff, he's very persuasive. He knows his audience very well.
He guilt trips them. He does the 6 thing.
Yep.
I'm going to keep the lights on. If we don't have you, we're going to shut down. It's your support, your immune support. This is a fantastic product.
Why does he have a deep South accent in your world?
I don't know. That's what he sounds like to me, I guess.
Oh, gosh, you fucking Canadians stealing my accent.
We can watch. Yeah, like I said, I didn't prepare any of this. I don't know. I think everybody knows who Alex Jones is, so I don't. I have this feeling of like, I have this feeling, this intuition. I could be wrong. That he is kind of a controlled opposition without knowing it, and I think it's like he wasn't, and then he became a controlled opposition asset because they realized that they could utilize him to kind of consolidate a certain faction of society. Powers that be have not killed him yet because they realized they could use him as like a, this way or that way, like a leader to direct, like a Pied Piper kind of. Or is a Mancurian candidate? Is that what that means? Like the sort of person who doesn't know they're the plant, or is that the term?
No, a Manchurian candidate is inherently on like the know to some degree that they're a plant, and that they're meant to carry out a specific agenda for a foreign power.
Well, it's
Um,
I think the version of that, maybe he does know, but I get the sense at least, because in my mind, like the 368 like archetype, it's like what would be their worst case scenario was that they were working for the enemy all along. And this just seems like this is
yeah,
be Alex Jones' tragic arc is that he thinks he's this hero who's devoted decades of his life to uncovering the truth and exposing the bad guys, which is, again, like the sixth thing. And then he's going to find out that he ended up helping the bad guys in the end win or something. Like that's just the sense that I'm getting from his like character arc in this Matrix. I would say Alex Jones just typologically wouldn't know that he's a controlled asset because of his type. You know what I mean? Like unless he really thinks he's fighting a different kind of war. I don't think just because of his type, I really think he comes at this with good intentions despite him being probably a shithead, and
yeah.
being a bad husband and all this stuff. I really think he's coming at this from this space of like I'm doing the right thing. And so this is where the Enneagram is also just interesting because it's like when you actually see people's deeper motives, for a lot of people, if you disagree with them, it's like, well, they're actually like they're actually trying to get the same thing you are. They're just doing it a different way.
So I'll keep it as simple as possible. A controlled asset is a person who has significant social influence that a particular group who is in power wants to behave in a certain way to control public opinion.
Thank you. Can you hear it?
Yeah.
Before they start talking, kill those little bastards.
They all have sex with each other. The jerking off motions. Perfect.
Well, this is why he's like, I mean, he's also a performer. Like, if you watch a show, which I can't because it just stresses me out. I watched it for a while and I was like, why do I have anxiety all the time? And I was like, oh, because I'm watching Alex Jones. But
Oh, he has a gun.
we can watch this, but also that's a good point for him being a six because I feel like they give you anxiety because they spread their anxiety.
well, also it was just so expressive. Like it was like, okay, have you ever seen those Haka videos?
The what?
Haka?
Oh, like Maori's?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm New Zealand.
Yeah, like he was doing some like Haka level like like come on.
Yeah, that's like accessing his eight stuff though for sure. But obviously he's a six. I mean, yeah, like we were going to maybe do this video with another person who thinks that Alex Jones is an eight, who I won't mention.
He's not an eight.
No, he's too much of a simp. He's too much of a like, we're all in this together, guys. I'm just fighting for you. It's not about me. It's about all of us together. And he's like, Trump's gonna save us. Elon, he's gonna save us. And I'm like, what are you talking about? I think he's so desperate to like hand over the torch. He would want somebody else to be the daddy, so that he's like really trying to like hitch his wagon to like these people that he needs for them to be the daddy.
Yep.
He doesn't want to be because he's a six. So at the end of the day, he doesn't want to be the leader.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like
that's
a tug of war sixes might have with themselves,
Yeah, and I mean, even like six people tend to not want to step up into leadership roles.
But then they feel compelled by their principles.
Yep. And so he's, again, I'm going to say all of his energy. I've seen eights. They're not head people. Like they say, oh, this is a head type, this is a heart type, this is a gut type.
No, you're right.
But people don't internalize what that actually means.
Mm-hmm.
And it has a lot to do with where your energy is located. And he is, even that still frame, look, all of his energy is in his eyes. It's in his eyes and
looking at my face into the bleachers and the people just flopping. Yeah, no, he. Yeah, he's like
That is
like a
not an 8.
chimpanzee. Like chimping out applies to him. Like that term is like an Alex Jones.
Well,
It's
and
insane.
one of the things that I think people who type aggressive 6s as 8s miss is that 8s are gut types, and gut types are very conservative with their energy. He is not conservative with his energy. Look at that. 8s don't roid out all the time. Like, okay, like Donald Trump. Donald Trump, I believe, is an 8. And that man does not waste his energy being like aggressive and stupid. He does things that are like, I'll fucking kill you if you retaliate against my steel tariffs, and I need my Diet Coke and my cheeseburger right now. And like that's Donald Trump. Like he's not overexpending energy. He's telling you he's going to murder you in the most efficient way possible because he's a gut type, and gut types conserve energy. That's what 8, 9s, and 1s all have in common. This man is not conserving energy. This is not an 8.
Yeah.
In any reality, he's overexpressive. He does too much. It's so anti gut type. It's anti 8. And it doesn't have any of the precision and like the je ne sais quoi that heart types have, where you understand intuitively, if I guess you have an IQ above 100, that they are presenting you something. He's not presenting you something, he's presenting you his thoughts and his thoughts alone. And he doesn't care whether or not you internalize that in a way that he finds most comfortable and most excitable and blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
He only cares that his thoughts are reaching you. It's all head type bullshit.
Yeah, that's true. He's like a broadcast signal.
Yeah. And and he's probably a social 6.
Yeah, I was thinking social self-pres.
Yeah.
Oh.
This man has no sexual energy whatsoever.
He does seem quite horny though. I bet he's got the 8 lust. So I bet he like loves to
Yeah.
but I imagine him being like flopping around like a big like whale or something on like drunk, like flopping around.
Oh. I just want to think about hitting him doggy style.
One of his writers just got murdered, but his reaction to it
Are
was
you
like
serious?
weird.
Hold on, tell me about this.
Yeah, this guy, fuck, what's his name? I'm so bad with names. Is his name Jamie? Um, he just got murdered. So this is why I was like, we got to do this now because every time I'm about to type someone, they end up dying. So I'm like, okay, I got to type Alex Jones before he dies in case he gets hit.
Before
I
he
don't know if
gets
it was a
killed.
hit or not, but it might have been. His reaction to it was actually very weird, and it felt really cold, actually, and I was kind of surprised by it because I was like, did he have something to do with it? And I was
Can
like,
can you
probably
say a
not.
little bit more about that?
He got like murdered in a parking lot, and it was like he's on a Ukraine list, a hit list that's George Soros hit list. For people who don't know, he's deeply evil. He's an 8, I would assume. I keep meaning to type him for the channel. 853 or something maybe. But yeah, he was on a hit list for exposing different money laundering things that was going on with the Ukraine war, which is basically just a money laundering scheme. It's killing people, obviously, but it's basically being used to like transfer all of the wealth from America to other people's pockets overseas. That's what the whole war is. Like, you can disagree with me, but that's my understanding of it. And so this writer had exposed a ton of these links, and he was put on some list months ago, and now he's dead. So I don't know if there's a link or not, but I mean, one could assume there might be.
Yeah. Well, I mean, obviously, I don't agree with you on the war stuff, but it is. I don't like George Soros, but it is very interesting that he perished
Mm-hmm.
after certain reporting.
I'm
So
surprised more of them don't have a target on their back because I don't know, but again, this is what leads me to think that like there's some kind of end benefit to having Alex Jones be the mouthpiece for this whole chunk of society that does listen to what he says, you know.
Yeah.
Because if there wasn't, then he would be dead. I mean, I know that he's like paranoid and he has cameras and he has all these things going on, but he's also probably I would imagine an easy target because he does go out for dinner and he has kids and all these other things.
But the politics of assassination is if you assassinate all of your opponents very quickly, then that actually makes it easier for people to rally with your opponent. So whenever you're assassinating, you do it selectively. And this historically has been true. You do assassinations slowly and not rapidly. You space them out by 1 to 3 years apart. And if their person's still being a problem, you get to the next person on your list. And that's the social reality of assassinations. And that has been the social reality of assassinations since ancient Greece. And that's actually...
I think the entertainment industry does it too. Like, I think Prince was murdered for sure.
Oh, yeah. I mean, almost certainly.
Because he was pretty anti music industry, like establishment studio.
Yeah. Well, and we'll see. And like Amy Winehouse, I think that there was some certain spurring on with her. And Chapel Rowan may not be long for this earth because because she's a heavy critic of the music industry, and they've already tried to destroy her through social media and like social media pushback. So I think that certain powerful people are probably going to target her because she is like, this is fucked up. This whole industry is fucked up. We need to be treated with more respect, etc., etc. And so we'll see what happens to her. Either they're going to snuff out her career or they're going to snuff her out. That's what's going to happen with her.
Interesting.
Light speed to warp speed. And I said this because it's true. In the last 6 months, I said Trump's doing a great job, but Elon Musk fighting the globalists on actual issues is way out ahead of Trump. And I said, when he gets in, if he declared...
Oh, yeah, he does a lot of the sixes. I was right. I'm right. Like, gotta like get my little cookie for being right.
So then he does look better bald.
Huh?
He does look better bald. That is an attractive
kind of looks like a villain. He kind of has like a devil sort of thing with that beard.
I know, and I want him so bad.
Sorry, this isn't the funny part. I didn't remember where it started. Oh, now I've cut too far ahead. Oh God, why did I do that?
Oh, they're dying right now. Their grip has been loosed. And now we're going to rip their arms politically, lovingly, non-violently out of their sockets and gouge their eyeballs out with ice picks.
Alex Jones after you come in his ass.
You want to see my Warface New World Order? You're gonna see it. I have thrown my full will against them for 31 years. And you can mark this day as their tombstone.
Oh my God.
It goes on and on.
That's only about 10% of how wild I can get.
You've only seen 10% of my full power.
Now is the time to press the attack. My tidal energy that was endowed to me by God has never been stronger. And I know you feel the same way. They tried to break our will. They declared war on us. And we accepted the challenge.
He's really tapping into his primal warrior. It's kind of hot. I mean, it's a little bit hot. Like,
That was some community theater level acting, and I love it.
yeah.
Yeah, I'm actually after seeing that, I'm sold on 6 Wing 7. That because 6 Wing 7 is like your typical theater kid, and that was he wanted to be a theater kid whenever he was in high school, clearly.
But it was too gay for his try.
It was just too gay. Yep.
I think one of his ex-wives or whatever said in court too that he's an actor.
He is an actor.
Just saying it. And yeah, you can see the 7 stuff. You can see all the reactive. But I think 3 Wing 2 Heart, not 3 Wing 4. It's
no, yeah. 3 Wing 2 Heart.
Yeah.
I think 3 Wing 4 would require a bit of refinement that he just does not have. He's messy. Like, he's not like 7, 8, 3 messy or something like that, but there's no elevation of self that I see with 3 and 4 hearts.
Mm-hmm.
Even as fixes, it's he knows how to dress appropriately for a man of his age, and it's not flashy. It's methodical. It's precise. It's what he thinks other people want, which is 3 Wing 2 fashion. And the way he behaves is 6, 8, yes, but the way he behaves and conducts himself seems very like, I am this kind of man, and this kind of man behaves this kind of way, versus 3 Wing 4, which understands how to behave with their assigned role. However, they also understand how to step above it and say, like, well, this is how I behave, and guess what? I'm better than that even. Mm-hmm. I'm elevated above that. Mm-hmm. And he's not doing that at all.
Also, like, and I'm sure he does have minions just because he has like an 8 fix, but I also don't get the sense that I feel like he's trying to funnel minions to other people, whereas like 8s are like, it's my minions, my dominions. And he's like he's like, I'm leading you to the person to follow. And like, that's the kind of 6 thing of like, where they kind of like outsource their own leadership. And it's, you see like people in like the Facebook groups, this is like a pattern I've noticed in all the Enneagram Facebook groups, is that some 6, usually with a 1 or an 8 fix, starts like freaking out about like the authority figures being bad, they're corrupt, they have some misinformation, da 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 da. But read my blog, or sure, I'll help you with your type, or like, then they like use it to like position themselves as like some kind of authority. So it's like this weird thing that I've noticed with 6s, like where they're trying to be the authority figure without taking like overtly being the authority figure. It's like they want that status, but they feel afraid to like fully claim it, so they have to do it in some weird way of like positioning themselves against someone else being bad or wrong or something. And that's kind of what he's done his whole career. I mean, I think he's was fighting the good fight up until a point. Elon Musk is like unhinged. I want to type him next, actually, if you're interested. I mean, I can't, I have to leave soon, but if you want to take him.
I am interested because everybody thinks he's a 5 and I think he's a 7.
See, I think he's a 5 too, so this could be.
Ooh, that'll be fun.
I don't think he's a 7. I think he's either like a 5 or hot take, maybe he's a 1 Wing 2 or something. Like, I think he's like a weird type. I don't think he's a 7.
Interesting.
I do not get 7 from him at all. He's not charming. He's not grandiloquent, you know. He's not fabulous. He's like some weird like autistic like, and I don't even think it's like autism. I think it's like his type. I think he's like some like we're all having fun here, guys, right? Like it seems like some weird competency-ish type disconnect from like reality or something. I don't know.
That would be fun to go over together, especially since we like on this we're coming at it with similar understanding
Yeah.
already, but Elon Musk were at very different understandings. I do find it interesting
Look like
that we
a seven
both
either. He doesn't look like a seven either.
I will say I find it interesting that we both put him on that 751 line though.
I kind of like I loosely type him 51612, but I could be super off with that. Please start.
I will compose myself now. Return. We'll be right back. Stay with us.
I mean, he's definitely left a legacy behind us.
Why was that clip here? Why was
But they've got their runaway train puppet
I don't know,
leaders.
but whoever he has that does these edits is brilliant because they often make the craziest edits that I'm like, this is talent. Like, this person's really hooked into the social space of symbols.
A lot of it aimed at me, which is fine. But I want you to try and answer the questions. It's a proper debate, okay? I'm not trying to trip you up.
No, it's not a debate. You're running the
Okay.
show. You bring in your
Okay.
victims up front.
Actually,
to-
no.
Look, you got your little note cards.
Yeah, okay.
I just gave you FBI statistics
Fine.
that violent crime
Alex,
and gun crime
Alex.
is down over 20%.
Alex, let me just ask you
And
this.
you want to
Sixes in their statistics, I can't deal with it. It's like if you ever try to argue with a six, it's like it's so draining.
they always want to bring up like on Reddit. It's well, what book did you get that from? The book I got it from is Living Life and talking to people.
Yeah, I noticed.
Do you talk to people? Do you know how to talk to people? Oh, no, you don't because you're a 617 on Reddit. Jesus Christ.
Hi.
But it's also so what I'm seeing just from that little bit, I feel the 8 fix is clear. He's invading Piers Morgan's space. Like physically, he's invading the space. He's pointing at the note cards. There's nothing refined about it. So it's that's 8. That's how a 8 gut fix manages their space.
We didn't really talk about his wing. I'm thinking wing 9.
Yeah, not wing 7. Nope. It's I'm 8 wing 9 defends the space they have and ekes out what they can from other people, but like 8 wing 7 is aggressively expansive and he's not aggressively expansive. It's we're in this space together and so I have to compete against you for my space. And no joke intended. And he just moves into Piers Morgan's space with no hesitation, with no thought. There's no decorum. However, it's also not like he's not like yanking the cards out of Piers Morgan's hand or something like that, because that would be a unnecessary act of aggression. And 8 wing 7 will do unnecessary acts of aggression. 8 wing 9 will not. In my experience.
Yeah, and I think if he was double 7, he'd be more unhinged. I know a lot of people think he's unhinged. I don't find him as unhinged as like other people. I mean,
No,
but
he's
calculated.
aggressive and a clown, but he's not. I do more unhinged shit than him on an average Saturday. I mean, come on.
I don't know. I have heard stories about these wild orgies he throws, but
Ugh,
who knows if they're true.
lucky people.
I go to little factoids.
No, they're not little.
Anybody can pull
factoids.
those up. Listen.
Do you know what?
Do you have a bodyguard?
Alex.
Why do you have bodyguards?
I don't have a bodyguard.
Yeah, I've seen you on the news with them.
I
Don't
don't
you
have
want
a
to protect
bodyguard.
your wife from hoodlums, or you want to call the police?
Let me ask you this question.
Why does Dianne
Alex.
Feinstein tell 60
Alex.
Minutes that she
Okay,
plans
Alex.
to try?
This is what he does to everybody, like verbally steamrolls them. With,
Yeah.
like ad hom or not ad hominem. Sorry, they're like the opposite actually, but it's like him just like, here's where you're lying. Here's where you're like. Here's where you're. I don't know. It's just yeah. It's a lot.
They're non sequiturs.
I mean, I can see the leaps he's making, but they're not relevant to what this thing is. Like, it's like, what are you even?
Yeah, there's I've taken in all this information about you and I'm going to use it against you, and I don't care what you have to say.
Yeah, that's true. And I think that is like a sort of head type attack tactic.
Especially if he's 8-3, which I think are his fixes. 6-8-3.
Yeah, for sure. And then then he's like triple positive shadow, which is kind of funny. Sugar coma, right? Yeah.
Well, and so let's think about this. If he has a triple positive shadow, that actually makes a lot of sense for what he's doing, because you cannot have this level of aggression and crusadership without believing that on some level what you're doing is making a difference. Yeah, he's in it for the money. He's a grifter, in my opinion.
I think he's an idealist, though. I mean, I do think he believes in his cause. Like,
well, yeah, you can be two things. You can be a grifter and an idealist. I mean, sevens are notorious for that. But I think he's a grifter. I think he's an idealist at the same time. And in order to sustain that, you have to have in the back of your psyche that uplifting positivity. And so a triple positive shadow, that makes sense to me.
Yeah.
To take Mr. and Mrs. America's guns.
Stop talking over me.
You guys want to disarm all of America.
No, I don't.
Dianne Feinstein's bill does.
I don't.
Gun confiscation.
Oh my god, this is the other thing that sixes do and six fixers that I fucking hate. It's like, you want to do this. This is what you're doing. And it's like, I don't want to do that. I didn't say that. You're assuming all of these things about me that are actually not even like intuited well. But people always get triggered by my flippant comments, and then it becomes like this, especially sixes and six heads, where it becomes this like, defend your position, and it's like, I don't have to.
I don't care.
It's my position. Just accept it and move on, honey. Like,
you're gonna have to do some editing on this
I'm not
one.
editing this. I'm not